The ACLU came out the other night in opposition to a bill that has gained an extraordinary number of co-sponsors in both the House and the Senate. Essentially what it does is it criminalizes supporting what's known as the BDS movement. This is people who are supporting boycotting, divesting from, or sanctioning Israel over its treatment of Palestinians in the occupied territories. That takes a current law that makes it illegal to participate in an ongoing old Arab League boycott and expands it to what they call governmental organizations, which they specifically define as the United Nations and the European Union. If the European Union says that you can't trade in the occupied territories as a result of pressure from this movement, and you as an American participate in that international movement, then you're committing a felony. Now, the crime that is stipulated in the underlying statute is a maximum $1 million fine or 20 years in prison. The new statute specifies that you would be fined in accordance with the statute. Now, the ACLU believes that once you reference the statute in the original bill, it doesn't matter if you specify a preference for a fine, that if a prosecutor asks for the prison sentence, the judge would legally be allowed to give that prison sentence. So there's some debate over whether or not that 20-year sentence applies. The ACLU believes it does. I spoke with a number of senators yesterday.
It would basically criminalize participating in boycotts against Israel, BDS.
I have a bill in that deals with our participation in international organizations. Is that the bill you're referring to?
Yes.
I don't think it criminalizes. I'm not sure it criminalizes. The bill I think you are referring to is the one that responds to some of the UN actions and deals with the U.S. participation in international organizations, and it's a follow-up to what Senator Portman and I did in regards to trade agreements. So we think it basically, I'm not too sure what the ACLU's concerns are. I have not seen that, but we are very sensitive to maintain freedom of speech and expression. Nothing in our bill does that.
The ACLU says that kind of the way that it's written would lend itself towards felony penalties for people if they participated in these kind of.
I didn't think we had criminal sanctions in it. We go to judiciary. I don't think we have. I don't think.
Okay.
I just don't think that's in our bill. You're catching me without.
Sure.
I think I know the bill fairly well. I don't believe we have criminalized. I think our issue is U.S. participation in international organizations, speaking out against the UN actions. I think that's the bill.
And so you'd say if it was written that way, you'd want it rewritten so that it's not.
We are very sensitive to freedom of speech. We're very sensitive to people having different views. We're not trying to weigh in at all on the differences between the Palestinians and the Israelis. What we're trying to do is make it clear that the United States is not going to participate in boycotts.
Now, he is the lead sponsor of this bill. However, we know from lobbying records and from online statements that AIPAC, the kind of the lobby for kind of the Israeli interests, is the one that pushed and wrote this legislation. They've been pushing very hard on members of the House and members of the Senate to sign on to this. They've been doing it quietly with a lot of from what I've been told, a lot of one-on-one meetings, a lot of group meetings with kind of AIPAC chapters in in districts. There are a significant number of House and Senate Democrats who supported the Iran deal, suffered the wrath of AIPAC as a result, and in some ways were willing to do sort of a make-up call here. And the way they wrote the bill was clever in the sense that if you just read the bill itself, it doesn't say anything about the penalties. You have to go forward and say, oh, it amends Section 206 of this other bill. And now you have to flip through the criminal code, find Section 206 of the other, and then you see the criminal penalties. So my sense is that this is going to open up a significant rift with AIPAC and some members of Congress who are going to feel like they were tricked into looking bad. My sense is that the public outrage that has come after our story is going to push back, and you're going to see people either start dropping off of the bill, or you're going to see it start to flatline, but anything is possible.